Good evening. The topic is going to be how to make system administrators' life easy using Ansible. It's not only system administrators, but everybody's life will be easy if we start using Ansible. It doesn't mean that the other tools, but pretty much we are going to concentrate about how to use Ansible and make the system administrator who is pretty much working on everyday all task or any task with Ansible. There are too many points, so just as a reference for me. So the first point is no need to log on to the servers. So I hate logging into all servers. Like, for example, hey, can you check the displays on the servers or a list of servers? So there is no need to SSH to each and individual servers to get the details. So instead you can use Ansible. That is one advantage, which you can save a lot of time. Of course, the time is very minimal, but you can save a lot of time when you're doing more tasks based on that. So the examples are when you check displays or you check something or whatever it is. When you want to check the configuration file and compare, this would be more a regular task or a BAU task. Say, for example, this is working on this node and this is not working on the other node, and most of you would have faced, or if system administrators would have faced. So the easiest way to compare is use Ansible and compare. So again, you need not to write a playbook, but the simplest methods are more simple. You can use an Ansible attack command, which I'm going to show in the next slides or upcoming slides. And when you want to make a persistent configuration, underline the word persistent. So you have thousands of servers in your estates, and you want to make everything persistent, including the configuration or the security hardening, or name anything which you want to have in across, or the security banner, which you can make it persistent using Ansible. So then control the file, configuration files, such as updating anything to anything, is possible using Ansible. Replace modules as such, which I would be using on a day-to-day basis. Okay, I have a file which starts with 127 on the configuration, change it to 0.0 for whatsoever reason that the Tomcat is not working with 127 if being used in the configuration. So when you want to check the log files on many servers, even that is possible. Say, for example, I have 100 servers serving production traffic, and I want to check all the log files in one go, and I want to check just few lines of the last log lines, so just to make sure that my application is successfully across all estates. So you can still, it's possible using an Ansible attack command, which I'm going to show in the next slides. Or for example, when you want to check the MariaDB or MySQL replication, or whatever the other type of databases as such, even you can throw Ansible attack commands to check the details without even SSH or connecting to MySQL prompts, provided you have the passwords and then you have elevator privileges as such. There are a few constraints that you need to have the credentials stored in whatever the cache or my.conf or whatever it is, but except to that you will be able to achieve using Ansible. So then name any task. So when I say name any task, it includes updating a configuration, starting a service, or checking the service, or enabling the service, which will be most of the day-to-day tasks for any administrators, still possible. Orchestrate things such as stop services, blah, blah, blah. So orchestrate is, let's say, if it's a single task or a one-off task, you will use an Ansible attack command. But when it is an orchestration, or you need a sequence of things, then you go for an Ansible playbook such defining, okay, this is the first task. Okay, step 1, copy your configuration file. Step 2, modify this file to this. Step 3, start the service and enable it. So that would be the orchestration which you can achieve. And using the Jinja templates, so most of you would have heard Jinja and might have used it. So that's pretty cool. Then you can copy to any server, any destination, and if you want to use the appropriate host name, IP address, or whatever it is, using the Ansible minus setup, you fetch the details of the server and feed into the Jinja, place it on the server, and start the service appropriately, which is still possible. And that's one of the coolest feature, which I like Jinja. And copying a file. So this is pretty much like you would be a system administrator, and then the developer would be asking, hey, can you please get me the log file from this production server? And you need to log into SSH to that particular server and take the file and then put it into your jump box and copy it from your jump box to whatsoever the place, which is a tough job or a time-consuming job, which you can use Ansible fetch module to fetch out of the server, and then use the copy module to copy it to the destination wherever you need. And then including the file permissions, etc., can be done by using Ansible. So which is like an easy task, or makes life easy for any administrators. So there is no need of any SSH, which already we have said. There are a few things which the previous things, okay, I want to do it in network, even in an appliance, you can do it in a different way, or you can use an Ansible adduct commands to call as long as you are able to SSH or use SSH keys. Then shell script. So let's say you don't have a specific module, but you have a shell script to do it in one server, and then you want to target on all servers. Simple, you use the script module, which copies the script to the destinations, and then attack. It's like, whatever you're supposed to done will be done in all servers using the same scripts. You need not to copy the scripts across. So that will be one of the easiest tasks, which you can do it if you have a need on that. So they name any task and a few other tasks like configure M repository, blah, 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 user administrations, including and not limited to local accounts or an LDAP account. You consume the appropriate module and pass the values, and then you will be able to achieve. Any file permissions, okay, there are a few file permissions issues across few servers or limited servers, or name any servers. So you can fix it using an Ansible adduct command, which you don't need to log into the particular server to do that, or one shot you can do it. So then fix AC Linux. This is becoming tedious, or one of the deepest topic into AC Linux. So you got a problem, and then you fix the problem for AC Linux module, or you identify the right context, you can just put it into Ansible modules and then make it done. And then installing a few or limited. So you find a package, then you need the package available across all servers instantly. So then you use an Ansible adduct command or a playbook, whichever is. So pretty much I have covered 20 points, which would be making the system administrators life easy. I'm going to show the next slides, which is how to do it. I've used the local host here. Don't mind, you can use any server as long as, or you can tag any server on your inventory as long as it has an SSH key and then Ansible host updated. So this is the way I get it. If I want to get a space in any server, it doesn't matter which mount point it is. You can specify the mount point if you know the mount point. Pardon me for that warn equal to no. I was trying to get rid of that warning, but some reason I was running late, so I could not remove it. So it's warn equal to 0, I believe. Most likely I wouldn't have done it in an appropriate way. So, for example, comparison. So let's say the DNS server is not right on all servers or all of my estate servers. So simple, call this Ansible adduct command, and then use whatever the grep, etc., etc. This is one server. Then you can list it in 100 servers, and then take it to a file, and then you can do a sorted or comparison, or on the fly you can compare it between the working server and the non-working server. So again, once you have fixed all these things, you can say, let's say I want this to be available in all servers, assets like this. So you can copy it with the file permission, mode set, everything. The last one is you have the privilege to do what you're supposed to do. So the next one, again, it's the same, which is backup. You can always back up the file. So for example, I'm touching the configuration file, but the change controls, there are people who are around the change. So how do I revert back? Simple, take the backup of the file while you perform the change and then revert back. And there is also an option available to back up the file on your specific naming convention. So BKP minus your change number or whatever it is. That's a module you can explore it to use appropriately. So, and again, we were discussing about I want to check the log file on 100 servers or 200 servers just to make sure the last few lines, make sure that my application or the product is working across all my estates. So there you go, you throw the file. It's a dummy log file, just made it. So let's say working good is good, and fatal error or something. So grep for it appropriately, you get the details, and make sure that your application is working at the moment, fine or not. Let's say this would be like the company database. Of course, presumably no HA availability, all those things are keeping in mind. The application goes down instantly and the database came up. So now you have restarted all the applications, but you want to check after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, okay, I want to ensure that all my products are working or services are working fine. So this is the way you can use in the easiest, which I know. This is one of the tasks to check the MySQL MariaDB. So you can simply call using the shell inline module and then call the MySQL to check the slave status of the MariaDB or MySQL or whatever it is. And then, of course, if you want to stop a service, I don't want this particular service to be running, stop it. And I forgot to enable the service, just instantly start on all the nodes. You can just say Ansible all, do it. And Ansible is idempotent, so you don't have to worry about which is always, there. You don't need to worry about any existing configurations, so the change is not going to affect anything which is already there. So then the way of Jinja is this. So you have a Jinja template, and then can be pre-filled on the destination server with appropriate values such as IP address, host names. I would be, rushing and completing early, possibly. Thank you. Questions, please, if you have.